Here's what's coming into view on Elevating Denver for June 2025. Kids find community with Rainbow Alley. Discover the origin of the Far East Center.
This whole corridor is built through love.
A new masterpiece awaits at the Denver Chalk Art Festival.
You do something magnificent and then it washes away.
These stories and more are just ahead on Elevating Denver.
Plants in urban spaces have such a significant impact on the community that I don't think it's realized all the time. I mean, they bring a lot of different insects and interesting animals. They bring a lot of smells that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think just in general, the color green is really soothing. It's a small thing that I think really goes a long way.
Right now we're in City Park Greenhouse, located in the City Park off of 23rd and York Street. And we grow and distribute all the plants for the city of Denver. We grow 250,000 plants a year, and those are everything from annuals to native perennials to regular perennials to our poinsettia crop. One of my favorite things is coming in, walking the greenhouses first thing in the morning and knowing that these plants are going to be going out and making a beautiful day for people soon, and also to drive around the city and look at what we're adding to beautify the city, but also make the city just a wonderful place for people to live. I'm always grateful that I get to have this job and be here and get to be a part of that.
All of the plants that you see out in any of the city parks, I probably touched at some point. They all came from us.
Everybody at the greenhouse is a rock star. I mean, truly, it's an incredible feat to be able to grow such a large amount of plants for such a diverse park system. The greenhouse is key in being able to implement public gardens that are accessible and beautiful for the public.
So a typical day is in the springtime anyway. As soon as the sun comes out, we water. We'll immediately start transplanting or seeding stuff for the week. We'll start filling up flats with soil.
At City Park Greenhouse, we grow under 36,000 square feet of space. We have 3 full-time horticulture growers and an operations supervisor that's very much boots on the ground. We also use a lot of volunteers from our CSU Master Gardeners, from Denver Botanic Gardens, and a couple other large projects where we bring in help from our field, from our horticultural staff that are in the districts.
Every plant that you see here starts as a seed. It's like a couple of weeks of just like letting the roots grow, letting them kind of establish a little bit, because they all are started in these really small cells. And there's 288 cells in the flat, and there's 1 seed in every single cell. Our horticulturalists will come pick it up.
At the City of Denver, we have around 40 horticulturists out in the field, and we are grow to order for them. They make their order, and we grow the plants that they need for their spaces.
From there on, they go out into the world to all the parks in the city of Denver to be smelled and stepped on and, looked at and enjoyed and cut back and, everything else that Colorado, specifically Denver, has to offer.
When we first get our plants, I always say that it's Christmas morning for us horticulturists. It really feels like the most special gift to be able to be given all these beautiful plants and flowers that you're able to incorporate into the garden and then share with the public as well. I love being able to have people walk through the garden and see things that maybe they've never seen before, that they can then take the idea of bring home and incorporate in their own gardens. I think that it's also a great way to get children and youth involved in gardening and involved in public spaces, and very grateful for the ability to contribute to that.
City Park Greenhouse is a 7-day-a-week, full-year operation, and we are working hard every day to make sure that your city is beautiful. And there are many people out there in the field working really hard every day to keep these plants alive and move them around the city and keep them beautiful. And we love when we get to have that satisfaction of seeing people enjoy our work.
I love being part of this because of the artists. You come, you create, you do something magnificent, and then it washes away.
Visual art is what you would see in a museum or a gallery. This is performance art because you do get to watch the artist and you get to watch the process. This is our 23rd year of bringing artists down to the streets in the Golden Triangle District, and they take pastel chalks and do amazing artwork on the ground. They spend 2 days creating their artwork, and the festival just pops up around it so that people can enjoy watching that creation and being a part of the art. In the 1600s in Italy is where this art form first originated. Those artists were named Modenari, and we actually have 5 Modenari who are participating with us. This is an iconic festival for the region. This is one of the 10th largest chalk art festivals in the entire country. We love the Golden Triangle Creative District. We think that this is a phenomenal home for the festival and have just been welcomed with open arms from all of our neighbors. This year, in partnership with the Denver Art Museum, we are bringing some of the chalk pieces up onto the plaza leading up to the Denver Art Museum's entrance. That is an exciting new piece.
The community has always meant a lot to me. So to be involved with Chalk Art Festival, be a muralist in Denver, an artist in Denver, has meant a lot to be part of this community. And it's made my work in everything I do mean that much more because of how much I love Denver. I remember when Cherry Creek Arts Festival came in, the first one, and I just remember being blown away, like, wait a minute, how do you do that? It had depth, it had light. I mean, the lighting and the colors made it look so illuminated, and I just remember it looking like a Renaissance painting. So the year I ended up gaining my confidence enough to apply ended up being the year that they shut it down because of the pandemic. But good news is that if you wanted to do a chalk art thing, you could do one in your own space, send in the pictures, and we'll post it on the Chalk Art Festival website. I have a sidewalk in my backyard, and I got busy on it and just thought I'd do something fun and simple, and ended up being really cool. So I was totally in and hooked. So I applied and I got accepted. And I applied again, and I got this one last year and just lost my father, so I did this tribute for him, and it was just a really special piece to put together. This piece I'm doing this year is a simple story, but one very special that I think people will relate to. It's about family, and it's about the things in our lives that we might overlook, that I'm hoping people will find ways to look deeper into the things they're doing and appreciate it.
My favorite and most satisfying piece of this event is watching kids engage with art in a way that they possibly have not had access to in the past. We do have a kids corner that is free where kids can grab sidewalk chalk and do their own creations. We do also have a high school challenge area. There is no admission fee. We work very hard to try to keep everything as affordable as possible for the food and drink. I always recommend they come twice, once on Saturday, once on Sunday, if at all possible. That way you do get that complete process of seeing the artwork in its early stages and its late stages. I would set aside about 2 hours for each visit to be able to go through and look at all of the artwork. We do also have a stage for live entertainment, so pick your favorite band and maybe that's your break halfway through your walk around the festival. We also typically have beautiful Colorado sunshine days, so hat, sunscreen, sunglasses, all of those are important. Make sure that your smartphone is charged and ready to go because you absolutely are going to be taking pictures and posting and sharing online. Our website is full of information, and that is denverchalk.art. Encouraging everybody to come down and be a part of 2 days of imagination.
I wish that kids could go to school and be themselves and not fear being misunderstood, fear of not being accepted who they are by their teacher. But unfortunately, that's not the reality we live in. And that's really scary to think that those kids are living alone in fear because they exist.
Queer kids in particular aren't understood or accepted, and so they face a lot of, it can be explicit or implicit discrimination, stigma against them just for being who they are. And so it's really important for them to have a space that's for them, where there's people and their peers who understand who they are and don't have to worry about masking any part of their identity.
The Center on Colfax has grown to be the largest LGBTQ community center in the Rocky Mountain region. We were established in 1976, so coming up on 50 years next year, and we grew from a very grassroots movement to create a safe place for the LGBTQ community of Colorado. We have a little bit of something for everyone here, between support groups, social outings, and educational opportunities. Really, the goal and the mission of the center is to engage, enrich, empower, and advance the LGBTQ community of Colorado. Rainbow Alley serves LGBTQ youth and allies. The primary goal of Rainbow Alley is providing that space for our LGBTQ youth to come and feel loved and accepted.
So we have a huge homeschool population that comes in every week. They don't have like one-on-one interactions with other kids. So this is really good to be able to find that community and find somebody that's like them and open up to be themselves.
I would describe it as a place for youth from ages 10 to 17 to come and hang out. We have mostly queer kids, but we also have some allies that come and hang out in this space.
We connect with them by just talking with them, ask them how they're doing, talk about their lives. Remembering details about them is really important. We host experiential things for them to be able to do, like art groups. We just did a yoga class the other day. We've gone to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal. We've gone to Meow Wolf. So there's just a bunch of different stuff that the kids can do here.
And then we also host an array of annual events like our Queer Prom, which is always a ton of fun to see the kids out there dancing and smiling and having a good time.
So I think it's important for Rainbow Alley to exist because there's a vanishing of third spaces. And a lot of times kids don't have places to go without having to pay money, without having to be involved in some kind of activity prior. And so they can come here and drop in whenever they'd like, whenever they are able to make it. It's just a place for them to openly express who they feel like they are without feeling like judgment or maybe persecution.
I think it's really important for all kids of any kind to have interactions with the queer community, to either be like an ally and to understand that they are kids just exactly like them, just with a different identity. Queer youth have a higher rate of suicide. And a lot of the time it's because they're not accepted for who they are. Having a supportive community drastically reduces that risk.
Mental health is really important, especially when we're talking about queer youth. Right now, they're seeing a lot of hate online and in the news in regards to their access to healthcare, their access to spaces and their rights in classrooms. And that can be really damaging to them. It makes them come in here feeling a little bit worthless.
However, having at least one safe adult in their life can help. It really is important, not just as the intern here, but as a queer woman myself and a mother. We need to fight for our kids. And it doesn't mean that we're actually fighting, but do what you can, get involved, support any queer youth you have in your life, and that can make a big difference.
This internship has allowed me to, work one-on-one with kids, but also work more of the community kind of through groups and talking about supporting people for who they are and building them up.
Leaving a legacy where kids don't have to struggle with understanding that who they are is wonderful and beautiful.
Come to Denver and fall in love.
I mean, literally come to Denver.
Come to Denver and fall in love.
And fall in love.
With the city, and you may have a person also waiting for you. Oh gosh, where should we start?
It's extensive.
It is extensive. It starts over a period of, I would think, 15, 16 years. But this is our baby. Denver is our baby. We have to groom it, and we defend it, and everything else. But I mean, we don't have to really defend it. It speaks for its own. It's a really beautiful city.
Stuart's been on a number of committees. We live right off of 16th, so we can look out on the mall, and he's looked out the window and said, I was a part of the committee that created this.
16th Street love story. On an average night on 16th Street, you just walk up and down 16th Street.
Robo Mike, so many people just became the fabric of our lives being right here.
Yeah, half of the restaurants and the servers are Facebook friends because we know them.
Yeah, and so like he's always said, it's our backyard, and that's literally true. I cannot imagine being anywhere else.
When we first got together, she says, all I want, when I told her about Denver, she had never been here before. And I said, well, we're gonna go to Denver. And she said, she says to me, well, all I want is a park. And I knew the structure of Denver. Yeah. I was like, I got one park.
I'll see your park.
I'll see your one park and raise them by maybe 20 or so.
Yeah, and not just parks. I mean, he's just been such a great husband as well as teacher, role model. And so, I came into the relationship shy, and he's been such a role model that I've gone on to get on boards and just, open my eyes to how I can make a difference in the community. And it's been such an amazing experience to do it here in Denver, where people are really receptive to ideas and forward-moving progress. So it's been just so wonderful to grow here.
If you're doing something cool, I'll go over and ask you, and then I want to be a part of it. And so with that attitude, I've been a commissioner for people with disabilities and also the African American Commission. I've also served the West planning committees. I've tried to put people with disabilities in the forefront of my projects and what I do. Just because, obviously I'm disabled, I have a disability. But
we should bring that up. That's one of the reasons we're here. Because Stuart was like, it's important that we be somewhere that's accessible. When we were in North Carolina, it was not accessible. And he had been here enough times to know that it was accessible. And funny enough, where he was showing me, he was pulling up YouTube videos, and it was just off of 16th Street, and the video was actually out of the loft we currently live in now. So it's very full circle. It is.
I think so.
Denver is fresh, and it's coming alive, being built, and that brings, an energy to it. And so it's an interesting mix here of baby boomers and Gen Z. And I think that mix of energy, you have people who maybe they're just finding love, or they're empty nesters and they're, giving love another shot. And so I think with that energy of the city, it is a romantic city. There's a lot of great eateries, a lot of fun things to do outdoors. So the city is fresh and vibrant.
And planning a date is so easy. I mean, we don't even do date night because every day is kind of date night. And that's where my romantic side comes in, because every place we've been, I have a mental picture of her. It just, I look at her a lot, obviously. She's really good to look at. So,
Me too.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But, it's, I take mental pictures of her.
That's good.
And, because she's
in
happy.
different fun settings we've been in.
Different fun settings, because she's happy, and Denver helped that out a lot.
A lot.
Parks. Oh, goodness.
At first, everyone is so nice. I say be open.
Be open. Be open to the fact that your date or a significant other may ask you to climb a 14er on the first date.
Yeah, if you're open, I think it's great. People are very welcoming. I've never gone anywhere and felt like I wasn't welcome here. And, that refreshing nature just helps, make you say, this is where I want to be and how can I be a part of this? And where is my person?
Yes. Denver, I love you because you give me freedom to be myself. You give me the accessibility as a person that uses a wheelchair. And you have redesigned yourself with my help to make me love you more.
Denver, I love you because you see artists, and as an artist, that has helped me not only grow but thrive, and I couldn't be more grateful.
I have a lot of customers when they walk in and they say, oh my God, you're still here.
Look at that, she's a good customer. She coming strictly 4 days.
Every day so far.
Every day we see her.
I tell them, you don't need to buy anything. You come and see me, I'm so happy. But they say, no, I come in is I want support you. That's why we can stand the business that long time.
What makes this little Saigon-Denver district so special is, honestly, this whole corridor is built through love, perseverance, resilience. All these family members are from another country and they're just trying to make their American dream come true. Rewinding back, my dad was one of the very first Vietnamese refugees in Denver. My dad always told me I came here literally with nothing. I had one roll of quarters, US quarters, and that's all I had. My grandpa is a well-known businessman in Vietnam. Within 24 hours, the communists came down to the bank and barged in and said, you have to get up and leave or we're gonna kill you. He went home and got the phone call that Saigon's gonna fall, you better leave. We were able to get 19 family members onto a cargo plane. This was in 1975. King Soopers opened their doors for refugees for jobs. About a year or so into working at King Soopers, my dad kept seeing signs on the box labels saying California. So him and his brother started thinking, why don't we make a trip to California? They found the very first Vietnamese supermarket that had fish sauce, rice, and seasonings and stuff that they missed so much. It was their very first time of seeing those seasonings after a year and a half. And my dad always tells me, I literally cried holding the bottle of fish sauce. He and his brother made that trip back and forth a few times, and then they were like, why don't we open the very first Vietnamese supermarket? So in 1976, beginning of 77, they opened Thai Bin supermarket, and it was the supermarket to go to for the Southeast Asian community. My mom didn't come into the picture until 1979.
When I came to United States, it's a 19-year-old.
My dad's family sponsored my mom's family, and after 6 months, my mom and dad got married. So I guess it was love at first sight.
When I started the business, I didn't think about I opened a gift shop. But I think I want to do something is to let people, they remember you. I think I do the video because 1983 is a Hong Kong TV.
Our store used to be called Trung On Video. When the newest movie came out or the newest drama came out, we would have a line of people coming to rent those, and it was for the Asian community.
Everybody, every day, every week, they want coming and we can get together. They just are so friendly and can meet each other and talk.
My job at the shop back in the day was to rewind VHS videos, which I hated so much. My mom would have a stack of videos and be like, Mimi, you need to rewind all of this. The VHS time phased out, we became more of a gift shop, and this is how we became Trung On Gifts. By then, my mom and dad was rarely seeing each other. She had her own shop, he had his grocery. This made it a little bit tough, and so my dad and his brothers talked about it and was like, how can we all as a family, we can all be together? The idea is where we got Far East Center. Far East Center is also named Far East, is to welcome everyone to be a part of this community. There was no babysitters back then. It was just everyone is here. Little kids running around. Like, it was just our home, you know, and that's what we knew. And every business owner, we would just call auntie and uncle.
Mimi grow up. Mimi say, Mom, now we need go in American customer. Let them know we are the business. And after I think, that's a good thing. American customer, they want buy Asian gift. They will think about, oh, I go Far East Center. I want go into Trung On Gift, and I can find anything from Asia.
My mom started Lunar New Year 35 years ago. It started out as just a holiday for her friends and family and customers, and now it has grown into like an event that brings tens and thousands of people from all over Colorado, even out of state, to come and celebrate with us.
I'm so proud I can do the event like that and let everybody can get together.
I see how important it is to share that cultural side and that celebration and that holiday. So that is why I feel like hosting Lunar New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival is very important to the younger generation, the community. Recently, we became the very first Asian plaza to become designated as a historical landmark. So that is huge for our family, just that recognition.
Bring you guys lucky.
When History Colorado and Historic Denver announced that we will be a designated historic landmark, I told my mom and dad, and my mom and dad started bawling, and I was like, why are you crying? And they were like, they finally see us. All these memories started flowing in, like of all the hardship we went through to get to here. When they moved here till now, they've always been the outcast. Finally, they feel like they belong.
Stay elevated by subscribing to the city's YouTube page for these stories and more. And stay tuned to our social media channels for more content. Keep up with all the latest from Elevating Denver each month. Thanks for watching, Denver.